So today's objectives, I'm going to introduce the Instructure Community Platform to you. I'm going to review the steps to create an account, a profile within the community, and then I'm going to highlight key areas that will assist faculty in their courses. So welcome to the Instructure community. This is the website to get direct access there, https://community.canvaslms.com. And so the Canvas community is a place for users to search for information, read and post about topics of interest, and to learn from each other. In the community, you'll find boards where you can post questions and answers, blogs where you can read and comment on articles, and idea conversations where you can suggest ways to improve products and rate ideas that other community members have posted. So you might ask, why should I join this community? Well, your voice matters. The Instructure company is very transparent about the roadmap for Canvas. All users can create feature ideas in the community, and often these ideas are incorporated into Canvas. If you don't register, you can only join, you can only browse and search for information and read posts. You won't be able to give kudos, to vote on ideas, or interact with the rest of the community. Now, personally, I learned Canvas about 10 years ago when the college that I was working for adopted it, and we switched to Canvas from Angel. And I was very active in this community. Because of this, they ended up selecting me, and they flew me to Salt Lake City, Utah, where I and a number of other members of the community met with the CEO of Instructure and some other higher ups, and we did sort of a community think tank of ideas where we came up with some feature ideas for Canvas, some issues that we might have been having, and then solutions. And we all kind of worked together. And after that, it made me really believe that this Canvas is, you're not just a number, and that Instructure really does care about making the best product for their customers. So that's a good reason to join the community. So let's go over some steps to join. The link you want to go to is that link that I shared before. And you don't have to do this right now, but I'm just going to quickly go over what you would do to join. You're going to connect to FAU Canvas. So you're going to want to click sign in the top right, and then you'll want to put in the URL for the FAU Canvas URL. So you're going to put in canvas.fau.edu. And then you're going to want to create your profile. So you can click on My Profile and then click on Settings. And you can add an avatar. You can add your email, your job title, and also under subscriptions and notifications, you'll want to add how to receive notifications and kind of your choices on how often to receive those and that kind of thing. So the one thing I would suggest right off the bat is that you join the higher ed group. So this is a group that all Canvas users who are in higher ed are part of. And this is a great way to collaborate with other users, and you'll automatically be able to browse all the popular topics right from that group page. So to do that from the home page, you just want to select the interest groups drop down and then select higher ed Canvas users and click Join Group Hub. And then from there, you just want to explore. It gives you some options if you want to find answers. It gives you a link to the Canvas guides. There's a Canvas Q&A, other product guides, or if you want to engage with the community, so post a question or read what other people have posted, articles or blogs, that kind of thing, you can do any of that right here. So some things that I suggest you don't miss. One of them is the Instructure live sessions. This is the main page for the Instructure live sessions, and these are live sessions that you can join to learn more about various topics. Looks like there's 2 that are upcoming right now. These are all led by community members who are good in the topic that they choose, and they present to you topics that they're outstanding in. So you can just sign up for them, and they're live, and they have some really good ones. The other thing I would suggest is that you go to your group. If you signed up for the higher ed group, there'll be kind of a featured unread posts at the top of the page, and you'll want to just kind of scroll through those. Usually those are the most popular ones. They update them weekly so that you'll get the most current posts. And also featured topics. So these are also updated recently. There'll be a featured content at the top of the page, and then these are updated very often, and they're just kind of topics that you might find interesting, popular topics. There's a course that they just created for Canvas student mobile experience. So just a lot of things. This is about how do I do this in the community, things you might want to sign up for. And release notes. Now this is something that Canvas updates their release notes every 3 weeks. When I did a newsletter, I would do the newsletter every 3 weeks based on the Canvas schedule, because there's always things that change every 3 weeks, and a lot of people don't know that. So if you want to stay on top of each release every 3 weeks, they have this release notes that comes out. So it tells you maybe there's some bugs that were fixed, new features. So there's, new quizzes, looks like was just updated. So if you use quizzes, you want to know that. And it'll tell you, okay, notification, some things that have changed. So you'll just kind of, want to browse this occasionally every 3 weeks to see what has changed in the community. And then there's a product roadmap, which I was talking about how figure out what it is as a community user that you want to see changing and what's upcoming. So this is a place where you can kind of learn about a feature that gets on the roadmap and kind of what's coming up in terms of next steps. Looks like they're doing some revisions to the attendance report. You can kind of see just what is coming that's going to be changing. Doing some group changes. In August, they're going to change the Canvas attendance report. So it'll just kind of show you what's upcoming and what you can kind of get ready for in terms of changes. Okay, so when you want answers, this is, as I was saying before, in the past, you may have gone to IT, you may have gone to your instructional designer, you may have gone to Canvas support. Now, in the Canvas community, this is very easy to search the community, and very often you'll get an answer right away. You can either search and the answer will be there for you, or you can ask a question if the question is not there. So right now, if you'd like in the chat, you can suggest any questions that you might have currently for using with Canvas, and I can search the community and we can do sort of a live search. Um, right now, I'm going to kind of come up with one on the spot that might be popular. So to show you kind of how it works. So you're on this home page, Instructure Community home page, and you're going to go to, let's say we want to know about peer reviews in a Canvas course. So I click and I enter and I say, okay, which one of these is most relevant to me? And I'm going to click this one because I want to know how to use peer review assignments in my Canvas course. And in this case, it shows you an instructor guide, which is in the Canvas guides. So this is something that they've already pre-formatted and created for instructors. It's really a step-by-step kind of guide that gives you images and screenshots of how you can use the peer review assignments in your course, so the peer review feature. So that is one possible search that you may do. Another one I'm going to say is print rubrics. This is a little bit less known. So I'm going to do print Canvas rubric. I'm not getting the same answer I got before. So I'm just going to put this, how do I print Canvas rubric? Okay. All right, so in this case, I'm going to click on the first one that comes up, which looks like was a question asked by someone in the community. How can I download a blank copy of my rubric as well as a graded one? And this, in this case, there's a solution which is posted by a community coach member. And these are people in the Canvas community that basically just answer questions and help out when needed. So there is a solution for this. And so in this case, you would do what the solution says. All right. Does anybody else, Judy, do we have any questions in the comments or?
I haven't seen one yet, but I have one for you. I was going
Sure.
to ask about doing some group projects, and then when you mentioned rubric, I've said, in my mind, don't, I would like to know how to access the rubric that is in the course without having to do the complete search. I don't know if that makes sense or not. How to use a rubric that is already listed in the course rubrics.
Okay. Um, I don't know if that's gonna, oops. Mm. Okay, what was the group's question you were going to ask, Judy? I don't think this one's doesn't want to come up with much.
Okay, well, Mary has a question for us about how to vote for a feature. And I know that's something that they shared with us when we first transitioned to Canvas. So how do you go in and vote for a feature or start something that you want to get votes for? And then the why, because I think they told us 100 votes and they would start to look about adding it in. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100 votes and then it will come up for vote. So this is sort of answered here. How do you see what ideas are newly open for voting? And so this is something, which ideas have I voted on? Okay, so that one, we probably have to be logged in. But let me just go. Yeah, so this kind of shows how the feedback works. That you would, yep, so the 100 vote threshold has not is not in play anymore, it looks like. Top 10% of all ideas will continue to be considered during our product team's quarterly prioritization activities. So you can still create new feature ideas, and as long as they're popular, then they would get moved to the top. That's at 10%.
And George has a question about the attendance columns.
Oh, okay. Just how did they work, or?
Well, his question is the tabs on our Canvas page is different than the one available through the Canvas website. So I guess finding it and using it is probably what his question is. And George, we can unmute you if you would like to clarify that question a bit. There, how do I add? Oh, well, now that's attendance points. Oh, interesting.
So it's not to deal with the attendance report?
George, would you like to let us open your mic so you can ask? Yeah. So, Em, if you would.
Yeah, I unmuted you.
Thank you. All right, George, clarify it for us.
Thank you. Great to hear your presentation today. It's really apropos and great timing.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm glad.
I've been asking for many semesters. We have the attendance column when promulgating all of the days that a student might be late or absent.
Right.
Is written differently in the tabs than it is in the Canvas website when you go there. And I've tried to find a solution to it. It doesn't give you the same information on our tab as it does when you go to the Canvas website. It doesn't give us the option of some of the listings. For example, I can't get a running header for students' attendance.
Right.
With the tabs that we have currently.
Now you mean the tabs in the Canvas course?
The Canvas course, right.
Okay.
And if I go to attendance, I'm going to go there for a quick second. I think we don't call it attendance. We call it something else. We call it
Roll call.
roll call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um,
And it doesn't come across the same way. I'm going to go to one of my courses while you're on, and I'm going to take a look and see what it says. It says we don't have the option of, yeah, we have roll call, but we don't have the option that's provided through the Canvas system for maintaining a percentage of attendance. Instead of we call it roll call, they call it attendance. We can't
Right.
put anything in that says attendance.
yeah. Roll call.
So
So-
maybe you can post that question,
Yeah.
Emily, and see what comes up for it.
So I tried to search for it. I think this might be something we can do as a asking a question, because I didn't see anything that was really that specific to the roll call feature in terms of columns being different. Let's see.
In other words, I'm looking to see, I'd like to tell a student, you've been out 30% of the class or 20% and it just doesn't show. It just shows the attendance. It just shows that the person was there.
Okay, Judy, do you have sorry. Do you have an idea about that? Should I be,
Well,
I wonder if I should try to create a question.
yeah, maybe try it that way and see what comes up. And thank you, George, for bringing this up. It's a great way for us to test the system out and to see what we can find out, see what we can learn here.
Thank you.
Ask if I post some sort of a question about finding percentage of attendance through would it be the roll call, George? Maybe just percentage of attendance. That might.
Yes, that's correct. So that I wonder why we have roll call instead of attendance when Canvas prefers the word attendance.
Yeah, I think because roll call is their platform that they use. It's like a feature, whatever, that they use for taking attendance.
So it's like third-party software?
Mhm.
Okay.
So roll call really doesn't do the job. Is there any way we could do attendance, get attendance written on those tabs and actually take attendance where we can print out a document that says that you've been here 40% of the time or 30% of the time?
Yeah, let me see. Is it possible to change roll call attendance? No, that's not it. So I know you can change, this tells you about roll call and the percentage. You can change certain percentages that count as like the lateness or the absentee, like how much they get deducted from being late. But you probably know that though.
See, the challenge I have with some students is they'll say, "Oh, I was here that day." And I'll say, "No, you weren't here. I took attendance and you were not present." And then they'll say, well, I was here 99% of the time. And I'll say, well, here's my attendance. Here are the percentages of the days you were here. But it doesn't promulgate that final number. I just have to go through it, each one.
Right. So in this case, I would say I'm not going to do it, but I could, but I would say you create a question and ask that question.
Sure.
If we go back here, so this is the link where you would go to ask a question. And when you do this, it'll, within 24 hours, somebody will answer it with a solution.
Okay. I'll
And
use the
usually, yeah, usually that's a Canvas coach that does that, or sometimes it's another member of the community. But they're always really good at getting back to things and making sure that people's questions don't go unanswered.
Thank you, Emily.
Like, can you check and see if there's a Canvas guide for the attendance / roll
Sure.
call?
Yep, that's a good idea.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, George. What were you going to say, my friend?
No, that was just it. I was just thanking Emily for the opportunity to hear this today.
Yeah, I've learned a lot, that's for sure.
So let's see. There's a peer review tips. All right, so let's just search for roll call. Yeah, so this is in the Canvas Basics Guide. What is roll call? View attendance. So it just talks about what it is, how you can change the percentage value, how you can export that data, and deal with badges. So it's not very specific. It's just in the Basics Guide. How do I take roll call?
Interesting.
So yeah, this isn't something that we always deal with on our team because mostly we deal with online faculty, and I know roll call is for those face-to-face situations. But it is a good feature, just not always used very much.
Yeah, and that's a valid point.
So yeah, that's basically all I had. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that if there's any questions that you can't find, usually you can find an answer for a question, but if there's anything that you can't find, then you should just, like I said, ask a question, and that will be answered usually within 24 hours.
So, thank you, Emily. This has been very informative. I'm glad you did this because I've asked a few, I've been in there a couple of times, but I don't think I've ever actually registered. And I did not know, I just did some really basic searches. So this has been excellent. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, it's something we often forget about, but
Yes, yeah, and it's a wonderful resource. I'm quite impressed with the fact that you used it enough that they wanted you to come in and sit on a needs assessment for them.
yeah, that was a great experience.
I'll bet it was. Great. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you everyone for joining us today.